hair piles in the house.
She shed. Her hair was just everywhere.
At Rough Greens, we know dogs need live nutrition just like we do.
We have had a lot of issues with her skin.
Sometimes itching and scratching, lack of energy, digestive issues, they're not medical issues at all, but more likely they're nutritional deficiencies from eating dead food.
A lot of the nutrients just aren't there anymore.
The good news is you don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Simply add a scoop of Rough Greens and make even the best dog food better.
I was truly amazed how fast it worked.
One of the most noticeable things is her coat doesn't have the itching.
He doesn't shed as much.
It wasn't even 2 weeks that I saw a drastic improvement.
We're so confident that your dog will love Rough Greens that we're going to let them try it before you buy it. Free. Just cover the shipping. Get your free bag of Rough Greens today at ruffgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com.
I wish we would have found Rough Greens a lot sooner.
So good, your dog will ask for it by name.
Hi babes, it's me, Tia Kofi, and welcome to the Final FronTia. Yes, I have my own podcast, which officially makes me the GK Barry of drag. Now, for the first time on the podcast, I have a guest. Super excited because they are a best-selling author, a screenwriter, and the creator of Doctor Who Redacted. It's Juno Dawson. Juno, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
No, of course.
I'm going to twizzle around so I can see you.
Oh, I'm fully cross-legged, comfortable, because I feel like this is going to be a chat. Because we've definitely had geeky conversations in the past many times about a lot of things, especially our mutual love of Doctor Who. But I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to put my campaign for you to finally cast me in Doctor Who Redacted to one side, and ask you about your other sci-fi/fantasy loves, films, TV, anything that you particularly love.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I always have. Going back to when I was really, really little, you know, I remember loving He-Man and She-Ra, which is very fantasy.
Wow, okay.
Thundercats, which is
Thundercats.
Shitara in particular, obviously. And yeah, then things like Terrorhawks, which is definitely showing my age. That's like from the people who did Thunderbirds.
Okay.
So it was another little puppet one. And then, yeah, it just stayed with me. And actually, Doctor Who was the consistent one. You know, I remember watching Doctor Who when I was really little and being really scared of it. And then during the wilderness years, I had them on VHS and used to watch them in my bedroom. And obviously I still watch it now. But Star Trek Voyager.
Love.
7 of 9. Yep.
7 of 9 is an icon.
Very lesbian vibes. In fact, didn't they make her a lesbian in Picard?
I think so,
I've
yeah.
not actually watched Picard.
No, I'm not going to lie. I started it, and that first episode, I was like, I've got things to do, my love. So
I'm told it picks up.
Okay.
I will get to Picard. I will at some point, yeah. And Star Wars, dipped in and out when I was a teenager. Again, big fan of Princess Leia, Queen Amidala.
Love.
Knew how to turn a look.
Really? Like, there are some fierce looks in Star Wars particularly.
Oh, the costume people in Star Wars are amazing.
Yeah. I've actually done a couple of Star Wars related looks in my time. It's very sort of like...
You've done Leia. Have you done Amidala?
I haven't yet.
Because, I mean, that's quite an ambitious look. I think, was it Trinity K. Bonet did a vague Amidala once, I think.
Like, the lip was reminiscent. That's all I can really recall.
Well, it's a bit cultural appropriation, isn't it? Because it's slightly giving geisha vibes.
It is borderline. I feel like that must have been the intention behind the design, was like taking from that, which is why I've kind of avoided it, to be honest.
A wise move.
But I've also done a Darth Vader inspired look.
That's fine. I don't think that's appropriation of anything other than the dark side. That's fine.
Yeah, the
Sith. What are you appropriating? The Sith.
Sith culture.
Appreciate, done.
Very that. Yeah. Okay, let's get into Doctor Who.
Let's go on then.
Because you've sort of, as you said, been a lifelong fan.
Yeah.
From the inception. Not that you were there at the time.
Oh my God,
That's
I'm not that old.
I'm not implying
Since
that.
1963.
the obvious question is, do you have a favourite Doctor?
To be really particular, I do somewhat consider them to be two separate entities, even though it's all one story about a time traveller in his TARDIS.
Okay.
I think there's always going to be a place in my heart for Sylvester McCoy, because that's who I grew up with.
Okay.
And so I remember watching after dinner with my mum, and it was Sylvester McCoy and Bonnie Langford. Then as a teenager, I was really into the Peter Davison era because it felt quite space opera, quite like with the family of companions, Tegan and Nyssa and Turlough and the whole extended gang. But as a grown-up, you know, I can, and as a writer, I can sort of objectively recognise what sort of David Tennant brought to that part, and how I think Tennant lived, breathed, ate and slept Doctor Who, and really kind of gave himself. And I mean, he came back. 10 years later to do it all again. And I think that's really telling of his kind of commitment. And I just think, his love for it, you can see it on screen, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, he's even married to a former Doctor's daughter and the actress who played his own daughter, which is wild. I think there's like an interesting thing, because I struggle with that question of who my favourite Doctor is, because obviously big love, but I kind of feel like your favourite Doctor is automatically connected to your favourite TARDIS team or companion.
Yes.
Because I always feel like I want to say that it's Matt Smith, but I think that's because I love Amy and Rory in the TARDIS so much.
Interesting. My husband is a big fan of Amy for different reasons.
Very fair.
You know, on the laminated list.
Yes.
Amy Pond would be number one. Karen Gillan, he loves her.
Oh, interesting.
He loves her. He's in love with her.
Okay, I'll keep her away.
Thank you. She's married now. It's fine, yeah.
She's someone. That's the thing about Doctor Who, is that it feels so British, but she is an example of someone who's gone from Doctor Who to international sort of platforms, and a lot of people have. Oh,
it's such, and it's so interesting because it used to be, especially the companion role, used to quite rightly kind of be considered a bit of an actress graveyard in that God loved them, but none of them were going on to kind of have the same success that Billie Piper or Karen Gillan have had.
Yeah.
And I think obviously the more of them that there are, it will be harder for all of them to have that kind of stratospheric success. But yeah, for a while, it looked like being in Doctor Who was kind of just a ticket. Like Freem Rajaman went off to do that hospital one, and she did the Sex and the City prequel show as well, the Carrie Diaries.
Did she?
She did, and Sensei. So Freem Rajaman was everywhere, kind of. Like obviously Bradley Walsh, shout out on Gladiators.
Yeah, hosting Gladiators with his son. I do want to talk about Martha now. You've mentioned Freema, because I don't think she gets a lot of love. And
she's the best companion.
I agree. I think there's something about like certain companions are sort of like come in, save the day by like essentially gaining superpowers, like jumping into the timeline, taking the time vortex into themselves. Martha just walked around for a year telling a story, which is actually quite biblical.
So, I think that's not the only kind of sort of spiritual or Christian sort of motif in those two episodes. But I think for me, it was her ending. It feels like, and I don't know if Russell, this was at the forefront of his mind when he was writing those episodes, but her decision to leave the Doctor for the sake of her mental health feels like a feminist move, kind of. And
absolutely.
When she walks back into the TARDIS and she's kind of like, it's like my flatmate from university. She was obsessed with this guy. It was never going to happen. And I just told her to get out. And I think that's a great piece of writing, but also a kind of exit that we'd never really seen in Doctor Who before.
Totally. And something that like resonates in real life, because like we've all got those or had those dating problems and things. And I genuinely, now you've mentioned that bit, Martha saying that speech and then saying, so this is me getting out, honestly plays back in my mind sometimes when I'm on like, been dating someone and it's been questionable. I'm like, this is me getting out, Martha.
And I think it was bittersweet because I really loved Freema in that role and I wanted her to be the companion for as long as, Sarah Jane Smith was. But actually it was right. And I think there's a lesson there as a writer as well about knowing when a character has come to their sort of natural conclusion.
Yeah.
And obviously Freema came back a couple of times, But yeah, I would love to know where she is now. I think there's still more story to tell with Martha as well, which is quite enticing.
For sure. I think because there was that period of time where everyone sort of clocked on to Mickey's masterful abilities with computers and technology, Martha's medical skills, and then the Torchwood team losing their technical and medical experts.
Yeah.
And I think people were very much hoping that Mickey and Martha would end up as part of the Torchwood team.
I think that was possibly part of the plan for a time.
Okay.
I mean, you'll have to get Russell in to check for certain. As far as I know, that was what was going to happen, but then Freema got cast in Law and Order UK. So it was just a scheduling thing, I think.
That is a shame. But I think Torchwood is something that I would love to see come back. And, you know, given your redacted writing and all of that kind of thing, I kind of feel like you could be the person to bring Torchwood back to our screens.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that would be amazing.
Pressure.
No pressure. It's a tricky one. I think Torchwood, you know, it really hit its stride in that third season, The Children of Earth, where, you know, it really found its voice and what it meant to be an adult spin-off of Doctor Who. It wasn't about swearing or them having sex. It was about, you know, gut-wrenching death. You know, Ianto Jones is one of very few characters in Doctor Who died and stayed dead. And, you know, and it was really heartbreaking. I think now, obviously, that there's issues, you know, I don't think, for example, the characters of Mickey Smith or Captain Jack will be back.
No.
Again, for reasons that are really well publicised.
Yeah.
But I do think as an organisation, Torchwood, there is definitely a place to kind of tell those X-Files, like story of the week stories.
Very X-Files, actually, as a reference. I mean, I think, like, Gwen is someone who I feel like didn't sort of, like, finish her sort of journey and story.
Yeah, and it's a shame. If you look at the extended media, there was lots of audiobooks, the Torchwood audio series from Big Finish, where Gwen did get some sort of thing. That was actually one of my first scripts I ever wrote for the Big Finish Torchwood. Oh, wow. It was called Aliens Among Us, and at that point, Gwen was possessed, I think, by an alien.
Fierce.
Yeah, there was a resolution. I think Eve Miles is one of the most brilliant actors.
Phenomenal.
Ever from the UK. And I would love to see Eve back as Gwen.
I would love that as well.
Yeah.
And just to sort of like, you know, maybe just give her place as like leading that Torchwood team.
Right?
It's what she deserves.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Torchwood was always about Gwen. I thought she was a fantastic character.
Oh, her development through the whole thing of like, just the way that they played and wrote Gwen having this like natural inquisitive nature that like drew her in slowly was actually incredible, because it was almost sort of flipping that companion role. Like it was very Rose in the sense of like working out what was going on, like having to find this person, like figuring it out, but just so dark and like brooding and like, God, I really like Torchwood. I think that's what I'm learning in this conversation.
Maybe I want to go back and watch Torchwood again. I've not watched it for a lot. In fact, I think the last time I watched Torchwood was right before I wrote 2 episodes of Torchwood for Big Finish. And so I probably haven't watched it since about 2015. Maybe it's time. It's all on the iPlayer now. The whole thing's on the iPlayer.
I do. I've got a bit of a habit of like rewatching my favourite episodes rather than like the whole series. So I think you're right. Maybe it's like go back to day one and like keep watching.
Yeah, and I mean, Gwen, those are the kind of characters that Russell T Davies writes really, really well. The sort of the every woman who finds herself drawn into a wild adventure. And like I said, by that third season, I think they'd really figured out how to do it. I think it took them a minute. I don't think season 1 was that hot. Got better. Spike from Buffy turned up. Oh my God, I didn't even mention Buffy. Buffy was my other true love.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have to get onto Buffy.
Okay.
Should we start Buffy? Let's talk
do it.
about
Let's
Buffy.
go to Buffy. Okay.
I am obsessed with Buffy, but again, I have the habit of only rewatching my favourite seasons.
But I think that's fine with Buffy because there was 22 episodes a year and some of them were crap. Sorry, I mean, that shouldn't come as a surprise, really, should it? When you're doing 22 stories a year.
I think they knew as well.
I mean, imagine, I think I did. I once, when I first got together with my husband, like, we did start Buffy from the beginning and I couldn't make him watch Beer Bad. Like, that would be cruel. That would almost be an abuse, kind of. Like the one where Buffy becomes possessed by the evil beer.
Do you skip, like, certain ones when you're like, I can't be bothered?
Yeah, I mean, the egg one with the little eggs in the backpack.
I don't remember that.
Because you skipped it every single time, likely. But no, I think there are episodes of Buffy you can definitely skip. Some of the Monster of the Week ones. That said, I really like some of the Monster of the Week ones as well. Like, I'm a big fan of the one where the swim team turn into fish monsters. Iconic, yeah. Xander in his speedos.
I mean, I wasn't against it, I can't lie.
Well, not at the time. I was really into Xander. It's only now as a grown-up that I realise that Xander is one of the more toxic characters of science fiction and fantasy.
Oh, do you think? I haven't picked up on that.
He constantly lies. Like, when he tells Willow the message, what is it? She goes back to Willow and rather than say to try get Angel's soul back, she says kick his ass. And so it's like he lies and deceives because he fancies Buffy.
Interesting. Because I obviously like pick up on Xander's like quirky Chandler-esque sort of like moments and also his like loyalty and friendship rather than those sort of moments. But now you're pointing them out, I'm like, oh, he does do that quite a bit. Yeah,
in latter years, when he's less obsessed with Buffy, he becomes bad. But certainly for season 1 and 2, nearly everything he does is out of his sort of doomed obsession with Buffy. Yeah. He's made it quite clear that she doesn't fancy him. Except, of course, when she kind of grinds up on him at the bronze.
Naughty.
We all love evil Buffy. There should have been more evil Buffy.
Yeah, they should have done. But I think what I forget with Buffy is like when you're in the earlier seasons, they are like, they're meant to be teenagers. Like they're at high school. So that kind of like, I feel like Xander grows out of that problematic behaviour quite well and sort of like gets his place in the world and starts to like find his feet, as it were. I'm like a huge obsessive fan of the final series, which I know a lot of people don't love.
Interesting. Okay, go on.
But I just love the potentials and like that resolution that I would never have sort of like dreamt of myself, but like that resolution that you sort of go back to that moment of female empowerment and the original point of having the story of the Slayer and say, well, why just one when it could be all? Yeah. Like everyone who could potentially have this power deserves to have it.
And just the sheer notion of choice, which is Buffy never chose to be a Slayer, whereas now, and I love that ending. I think the final episode is as perfect a final episode as I've seen of anything.
Absolutely.
For finally, you know, we don't know what Buffy chooses, but finally she has a choice. Yeah. If she wants to retire, she can, and if she wants to carry on slaying, she can as well. I thought that series... Actually, do you know what? I don't think there's a series in the world that needs to be 22 episodes a year. And I think now with streaming, you know, Buffy would have been 12 episodes a year and that would have been normal. So there's a lot of Buffy being voted out the house, then she comes back to the house and then the Uber vamp kicks her ass and there's a lot of back and forth. Whereas now, if it had just been 12 really tight episodes, the whole potential thing could have been really amazing.
Yeah, like the focus of it.
Yeah, whereas, God, it seems to go around. And then I think, actually, once Caleb rocks up Nathan Fillion's character, he's really great, like prodding out Xander's eye and stuff, like great. Oof. Faith comes back. So I was a massive fan of Faith.
Me too.
I love Faith. With her leather pants, with her pleather pants. And there are some really great standalone ones in season 7. For me, my favourite season of Buffy is 3 with the mayor. I thought the whole mayor arc, because he's such a good baddie, because he's so lovely, but also just wants to eat a bunch of school kids.
Yeah, that kind of like, they do well kind of with that like villainous power dynamic, like reminding you, especially in the earlier times, like Buffy's like a little teenage girl and she's standing up to these like big, scary, powerful men with like authority roles, whether it's like the mayor, the army, the military rather, the first, like all of these things. It is very much like iconically feminist.
Oh, massively. And that's why, I don't know if you've read Evan Ross Katz's book, Into Every Generation.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. And it's kind of disheartening to learn that actually the show behind the scenes was far from feminist, in that you had a male showrunner very much pitching the young female cast against each other and playing favourites and sort of cultivating this environment of real suspicion amongst the young female actors.
Yeah.
But still, the story, it's really difficult. God, this is a big we were just having a conversation about someone else before we started. It's really hard to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
But I do still respect the story at the heart of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
For sure. I think you're right, it is difficult to separate the art from the artist, but I think it's also appreciating the individuals who contributed to it, whether it's from an acting perspective or like producing and all of that kind of thing. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar, I mean, she's just guest judged on an episode of Drag Race for a reason. She remains like a queer icon.
She is mother.
She is mother. Yeah. Very that. I think I would potentially like to see a Buffy reboot.
See, that would be my dream job in some ways. If whoever has the rights is listening and would like to entrust me with a reboot, I think there's a story there, because actually a story that the original Buffy never even bothered with was about women aging and the role of women. And I would really relish the idea of getting Sarah Michelle Gellar back as a middle-aged Slayer. You know, does she have to give it up just because she's in her 40s? Or, you know, can a woman in her 40s still slay? I don't know if that would win over a new generation of fans, because I know that was the original plan was to do a proper reboot with like a whole new cast. And I know a showrunner was hired for that, but it never came to fruition. But I would love to see where Buffy's at.
I think that'd be great, because I guess Buffy and Faith, based on the stories that we've known from the past, are probably the only two Slayers who have made it that far in terms of age.
Yeah, that they will be. Well, they are by definition. They're the eldest Slayers. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a complicated one to do, and I don't know if there's any love lost between Alison Hannigan and Sarah Michelle Gellar. So I'm not sure we'd have the full cast back, but yeah, I mean, God, can you imagine try to explain how Angel and Spike have gotten older? So just recast Angel and Spike as kind of 30-somethings.
As long as you don't do that sort of creepy CGI. What was it? What's the film? The waving through the window one. The Dear Evan Hansen. Let's not do that, because they de-aged.
Oh, I've not. You know, I never saw that. I was thinking of Professor Xavier in some of the X-Men films. The de-aged was one. It was a bit uncanny valley.
Yeah, uncomfortable to look at. Yeah, let's not do that. We
won't be doing that. No, we will not have de-aged James Masters as Spike.
Let's just write in, they age now because they got their souls back. Fine.
I think I'd get rid. Oh my God, this is so off on a tangent. If I was going to bring back Buffy, and if Sarah Michelle Gellar was up for it, I think there are obvious characters that you would definitely bring back. Giles, Dawn.
Of course.
And then others that maybe you wouldn't need. I mean, I don't think you could bring back Xander. He's not a particularly popular character anyway. But again, the actor's been in trouble with the law and stuff. But I don't know if you'd need the vampire characters back. I think it would be about telling that new story about Buffy, and that's kind of what it was it was an ensemble, but ultimately it was Buffy's story.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned Dawn there, and I always think, how did she psychologically deal with the fact that she wasn't human, she was just a ball of energy? How do you process that? You just didn't exist until someone made it up.
It's a shame they never really dwelled on that. And again, Dawn wasn't the most beloved character, I don't think.
No.
I think that's an exaggeration, under exaggeration. But she, I thought there was potential with Dawn. And obviously we respect Michelle Trachtenberg for what she did with Georgina Sparks in Gossip Girl.
Oh, love.
So to be both Dawn Summers and Georgina Sparks in the space of a decade is quite iconic. Get her back.
Absolutely. I do feel for her that she thought for 10 minutes she was a potential, but it was actually Amanda.
I got to be in Buffy this year. I'm in the audiobook, the Slayers one with Cordelia.
What?
I know. I was down at Amazon, and they wanted to ask if I wanted to do any writing for Audible, and I was like, "That's so kind. I'm a bit busy." And they were like, "But you're a massive Buffy fan, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes." And I thought they were going to ask me to write something, and I would have done. But they were like, "Oh yeah, well we've done this thing. You know, Amber Benson, who was Tara, has written this sort of audio drama called Slayers, and it's basically about a world where Cordelia is the vampire slayer." And I was like, "What?"
Yes.
And they were like, "Would you like to be in it?" And I was like, "Yes." So I just went along for one afternoon and I play a sexy demon called Miranda.
Love.
And I was in a room by myself. Initially, they were going to fly me to LA. And then I was like, "That's cool." And then they got back to me like a week later. Like, "Actually, we've decided you just don't have to go to LA." And I was like, "Fair." So I did it all by myself. But I was down the line with Amber Benson, who directed it. And she was as lovely as you would expect.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's so funny. I had a lot of closet Buffy fans sliding into my DMs going, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "Yes, that is me." Yep. So apparently, I think it's Audible's most popular ever audiobook, I think.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so it's done really well for them.
I mean, that is definitely something to pop on the CV, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Miranda dies, so I don't think I will be back to torment Spike in the future. But
It's Buffy though, so you never know.
that's true. Yeah, Harmony came back.
True.
Yeah, everyone
Anything's
came
possible.
back. I could come back as the first.
I think that'd be fierce.
Yeah.
I would believe that. On the line of reboots, by any chance, are you a Charmed fan? Because you give me Charmed fan energy.
You'd think, given that I wrote Her Majesty's Royal Coven, available now in all good bookshops.
We will get to that.
You'd think, but no. So I did watch it. It was it was on Channel 5 in the late 90s.
Yes.
And this is awful. Even then I was like, this is a bit like cheap.
Okay.
It's a bit cheap compared to Buffy, kind of and it always slightly felt like a weak cousin of Buffy.
Yeah.
But I watched, I think I stuck, I'll tell you why I stopped, because I went to university in Wales where we didn't get Channel 5 at that point.
Oh.
So I think I did season 1, 2 and 3 and then I kind of dropped off because we just couldn't get Channel 5 in Bangor.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a reboot of that and I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, okay. Did it last a couple of seasons or something?
I think they tried to give it a good 2-season go and then everyone was like, no, sorry.
Why didn't it work?
It was a little... I mean, what you're saying there is that initially it kind of knew that it was a little bit cheap and a bit campy, sort of like Aaron Spelling energy. And the reboot was obviously trying to be like dark, sexy modernising of it. But when you're trying to dark, sexy modernise something that was already quite campy in its approach, it just didn't sort of land, and like adjusting the powers, and like for some reason they all had names beginning with M instead of P for absolutely no reason. It was just all a little bit bizarre. And I don't think it acknowledged the original Charmed ones.
It wasn't a continuation. It was just like a proper reboot.
Yeah, which I think was the mistake.
That's the best way to fuck off a fan base.
Yeah.
To pretend that their beloved thing didn't happen. And I think that was what was really, really smart about Doctor Who, which is when it came back in 2005, to begin with, it wasn't a celebration of what had come before. You know, it was a while until we saw a Dalek, kind of. But, you know, that Russell understood there has to be a getting on point for new fans. But at the same time, you can kind of subtly acknowledge that, you know, there's been a whole history of this show. And now, you know, why couldn't we have had a version of Charmed where a group of sisters bought the house that the Halliwells used to live in, or, you know, you could have had Shannon Doherty playing like, oh no, she died. Alyssa Milano playing like their mentor or something.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason when it comes to that kind of like power and things, there's no reason why we couldn't say the Halliwell sisters gave it up as they walked off into the sunset, but it has to go to another trio of sisters. There has to be, like in a Buffy Into Every Generation, a Slayer is, I feel like that could have been like a possibility. I really had you down as a Charmed fan.
I wouldn't go so far as to say fan. I definitely watched it. I think it was on a Saturday night. You know, I thought it was a pleasant way to pass an hour. But I think you can do that. I think if you are a geek, a glamorous geek, then there are your ride or dies, the ones you would literally cancel plans for. Yeah. And there are the ones that you can kind of dip in and out of. You know, and at that point, you know, I was such a hardcore Buffy, X-Files stan that there honestly wasn't room in my heart for another thing. I liked Sliders. That was another one that I would dip in and out of.
Niche.
Can you remember Sliders?
I do remember Sliders.
No, that's a word for a little burger, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
But back in the 90s, it was a wormhole jumping, time travel-y, quantum leap-like
Very
thing.
Quantum Leap-esque. In almost like, I guess I would call it Quantum Leap Teen Edition.
Yes. Although, again, a bit like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, those teenagers were well into their late 20s by that point. It was
Very
Jerry
that.
O'Connell, who I've got a lot of time for Jerry O'Connell. Yeah, it was one of those as well. The longer it went on, the more convoluted and strange it got. Like I remember I started off being a huge fan of Alias, the Jennifer Garner one. But could I tell you what happens in that show past season 1? Like bonkers scenes. I don't know what happened. Like was she the descendant of the Virgin Mary or something by the end of it?
Oh.
The Rambaldi file or something? I don't know.
I don't think I got to the end of that, you know.
Really complicated. Well, he's the guy who did Lost. It's J.J. Abrams' first TV show, so it kind of figures, doesn't it?
Yeah, very wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. I have that with like a lot of shows where I was like, we mentioned Faith before. Do you remember Dollhouse?
I never did Dollhouse, and I don't know why. It's possible. Did it go out on Sky or something?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think there was a reason I never got into it, but to this day, I have never seen a single episode of Dollhouse.
See, I might as well have not, because that's one of the shows where I'm like, I know I loved it. I watched every episode. Cannot tell you anything about it.
Because it was cancelled very prematurely, wasn't it? So I think that's why I never bothered. For my mind, it's quite hard to invest in a show that you already know has been cancelled.
Yeah.
Because it's like, where is this going? Kind of nowhere. Literally, it's going nowhere. And there's the same with Firefly, which I know a lot of people really rate.
Yeah.
Did you do Firefly?
To an extent, but sort of like not as invested. And I think you're right. It is that element of sort of like if you come to a show late, you've already got the opinion of the fandom sort of there. So it does kind of like tarnish. I think also that's how I felt about the Charmed reboot as well. I'd already known people who had watched it and I was like, okay, well, everyone's told me this isn't good, but I love Charmed, so I'm going to give it a go. And then you're like, no, my opinion's already been very that.
Oh.
Very that. But your love of sort of like sci-fi and fantasy also manifests very heavily in your writing, which you mentioned before. You're a novel. What kind of best-selling? I feel like I always see it and you're like on some lists and being very good at everything.
Not that list. I'm not on a police watch list. I am. Yeah, so it's... I think a lot of my writing's always had a speculative element, and I like the word speculative because it kind of covers a lot of my writing. The one that went through the roof was Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which was kind of, it's like my Spice Girls meets The Craft meets kind of X-Men vibes, which is kind of what I wanted to do. It was lockdown and I was really struggling to get any work done because we all thought the world was ending. And my husband was like, what do you want to write? And I was like, okay, hear me out. I want to do the Spice Girls, but they're witches. And he's like, then that's what you need to do. And it kind of snowballed from there. But I'm really pleased to be part of the sort of the broader fantasy community. It's a very nice place to be. And, you know, it means I get to go to conventions and things with other fantasy writers who tend to be very lovely people, a lot of women, a lot of queer women. Wow. And so it's a nice space to be in. And I think going forward with my novels or my scripts, I always say this, you know, I could write a Twin Peaks, but I couldn't write a Broadchurch, you know, and I think there always has to be something a bit weird, a bit otherworldly in whatever I do, because if I've learned one thing from Her Majesty's Royal Coven, it's you should only create things that you yourself would engage with. If you start thinking, oh, this is going to win an award, or this is going to go out on ITV1 at 9 p.m. and everybody's going to watch it, I think there's something inherently cynical about that. And I think I did that with one of my novels. I won't say which one, because I'm sure a lot of people love it and I don't want to shit on it for them. But I think you can tell when people have created something cynically. And so I think going forward, I'm going to write books that I would want to read and I'm going to make TV shows that I would want to watch. And I think that's a good compass to kind of steer myself right, I think.
I think that's great. And I think, interestingly, that sort of like triggered a thought for me, which is you've sort of written books and scripts. Is there a thought of you turning your books into a series? And would you feel like you were best placed to write it, or do you think it's better to hand that story to someone else?
I think it depends on the situation. So when the makers of The Crown have got the rights to Her Majesty's Royal Coven.
Fierce. Wait, is that like public knowledge? Was I meant to know that already?
That is public knowledge.
I didn't know
that's
that.
fine. That
oh my God, that's the most exciting thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's in really safe hands. And when they asked if I was interested in adapting the novel, I was still writing book 2. And so the notion that I would be writing book 2 while also adapting book 1, I was like, absolutely not. Okay. They've got this amazing woman called Jess Britton in to adapt. She worked on Skins and Clique and various other things. So she's done the script and it's great. Whereas a few years back, a production company came to me and said, we're really interested in 3 of my YA novels, Clean, Meat Market and Wonderland. They're like, do you want to do them all in one TV show? Like a big kind of like Euphoria style thing. And I was like, yeah, because that feels like something new.
Yeah.
So it's not just taking a book and turning it into a TV show. It's really reimagining those stories. Wow. So if there's something for me to get out of it, then yes. But I quite like working with other writers.
Yeah.
And I like adapting other people's books. I've got the rights to a friend of mine, she's called Eliza Clark. She wrote a novel called Penance, and so I'm adapting that at the moment. So that's been really fun as well. So it's all quite, it's a nice sisterhood vibe with writers. I think there are some dickheads, but mostly we're just quite nice people who got quite lucky, I think.
I don't think it's like sort of purely nice people who got lucky. There's skill and talent and obvious ability in the mix.
You do need those, but also a lot of luck, because do you know what? There's a lot of very talented writers who do not get published, you know. There's always going to be a role of timing. And I think when I got started 10 years ago, there was a lot of timing at work. But yes, obviously you do need to be good. And on time and efficient as well, that people forget. And I'm sure that I think this is true of you as well. I think the drag queens who do really, really well are the ones who are on time and are not flaky and do not drop out of things at the last minute. It's true of my job as well, I think.
That is interesting. I think aside from the things that you said, especially as a writer, you need to have like, I can't find the word, but you need to have like the energy to push and believe in yourself. Because I remember when I was at uni, shout out to Nottingham Student Television, I was like writing my own gritty teen drama. Like, obviously it was absolutely appalling because it was like 2009 and we were trying our best to sort of shoot it while everyone was doing lectures and all of that kind of thing. But I was like obsessed. I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, this will be the next like Skins or like Misfits or whatever. Like, I could actually make this. Then you get out into the real world, second guess, don't know where you're turning, don't know where to go, like don't have the ability to commit that kind of time. Those are all things that you really need. So like, I think what I'm saying is like, slay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Slay back. Well, no, I think it's true. I think you know, and we all know sometimes there are really, really talented people. Sometimes they're Nepo babies. So sometimes it's that their mum or dad works in the industry as well, or their sister. And, you know, they can get, that opens a door, but you're only going to stay on this side of the door if you're good, if you're nice and people want to be around you, and if you can work to a deadline. And I think when I think, why is it that I've done so well? And it's only quite recently that after 10 years that I realized, oh my God, I've done really well. Yeah. Like I've survived 10 years in an incredibly competitive industry. And I think there are better writers than me out there, but they're often dickheads or they just can't meet a deadline to save their lives. Yeah. So I think that you do need those 3 things.
Absolutely. You definitely have done well. And I sometimes get like these gaggy moments, like if you've like posted things or I'm just sort of like looking around and I'm like, I literally know this person. Like I remember I was on a plane back from a gig that I did in Germany and I was like, God, okay, thank God that I've got like Redacted to listen to. Like I love Doctor Who, I'm just going to sit there. And I was like, wait, I literally know like the writer, creator and the lead in this show. Like I got overwhelmed like listening to it. I was like, I just caught myself like purely enjoying it for like the entertainment value of it. And then I went, I know these people. This is like mad.
But it's so funny because you would think as a lifelong Doctor Who fan that working on Redacted would have blown my mind. But you just keep, and you'll know this as well, you just keep on working. And that's always the thing when you're a self-employed artist, your head is already in the next thing.
Yeah.
Because that's still, after all these years, the most important thing for me is how long can I keep doing this? How long can I stay in this game? You know, because it can sometimes feel like a game. And I used to be a primary school teacher. And so since 2011, it's been this constant contest of how long is it before I have to go back and be a teacher again? You know, even though that was 12 years ago now. And I wonder if it's the same for you as well, which is just how long can you keep on
100%
going? It's been a ride. You know, when was season 2 of Drag Race? Like
3 years ago.
3 years. Like here you are.
Yeah. Trying to keep going.
And you've just gone and done it all again. So.
Oh, yeah, but I have the same thing. Like I genuinely looked, I think like 3 weeks ago, I looked at my old CV that finishes in about 2015, I think, because that's when I started doing drag full time, maybe 2014.
Oh my gosh.
And I looked at it and I was like, okay.
And 10 years, it's 10 years of Tia Kofi.
Yeah. And we're still going. But that is not the fear, but that is the thing that you're like, you've got to keep pushing, you've got to keep going.
Oh, I think it is the fear. I think fear, I think it's with us, right? It's in this room.
Yeah,
it's like,
I sense it.
Yeah, but it keeps you creative. What's the next? I hate the phrase side hustle because it just sounds a bit naff. But what next? I think, you know, when some of my novels weren't selling particularly well, I was kind of like, well, maybe it's time to think about where else could I take my skill set, kind of.
Yeah.
And thank God, one of the doors that opened for me was TV. You know, and that's become like this whole sort of second career, kind of.
Which is magical. I do have to ask, are we going to get another series of Redacted? Is that happening? Can you tell us, or is that not allowed to be told?
Well, I honestly thought there was only going to be one series. So the second series came as a very big surprise to me, in that I thought we'd kind of finished the story, and then Russell T Davies emailed and he was like, last year now, it was the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. I'd love another series of Redacted to be part of the 60th anniversary. And I was like, well, the only thing that I didn't do is I didn't give Cleo any sort of a love interest, Charlie Craggs' character. And so I was like, right, okay, I have a story. I don't think we need another 10 episodes to tell this story. And actually, I think it worked better for being a bit briefer, actually. We did 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And right now, honestly, I don't think I have a story to tell about those 3 characters, but I bet I will. I will going forward.
Yeah.
But now the Whoniverse is truly a thing now. And so the Russell T Davies is fully in charge of the Whoniverse. So it's really up to him. But I will say that that's not me sort of being needy. Right now, I don't have a story to tell about Clea and Abby and Shauna. But season 1 and 2 are available to listen to right now.
They are on BBC Sounds?
On BBC Sounds. Or wherever you get your not what? Podcasts.
Wherever, yes.
That's what we're making. Podcasts.
Well, on that note, obviously I am campaigning hard for another series of Redacted, and I would like to be in it. So I would now like to start a tradition, which is reading a script together. So this will be my audition. And I feel like we should do a Doctor Who moment. Would you mind playing a character from
I would love that.
Doctor Who? Do you have a preference of a scene or anything?
What if have they got the script to the one where Yasmin and the Doctor have their romantic goodbye moment?
Oh, that's nice.
Was it the dreadful Sea Devil one?
At the end of the Legend of Sea Devils?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're making me play emotion.
A lesbian love scene, yeah.
I love that. Okay, let me get into Yaz. Yaz, police officer. Yaz. Okay. You okay?
Yes. I can't fix myself to anything, anywhere or anyone. I've never been able to. That's what my life is.
Yeah, of course.
Not because I don't want to, because I might. But if I do fix myself to somebody I know, sooner or later, it'll hurt.
My nanny says, courage is knowing something will hurt and doing it anyway. Mind you, she also said it's the definition of stupidity.
Can we just live in the present of what we have while we still have it?
Oh, sure. Picks up a stone. Make a wish and skim it.
I wish.
You can't say your wish out loud.
You can where I'm from. I wish this would go on forever.
Scene. Spoiler alert, it didn't go on forever.
Yeah, no, she died.
Yeah, very that. Sadly, this podcast can't go on forever.
Aww.
But thank you so much for joining me.
No, my God, I love that. That was the most freewheeling, bonkers conversation of late 90s BBC 2, 6 p.m. science fiction.
Literally.
Yeah,
I feel like we
great.
had a very niche bracket of about 15 years.
Yeah, sliders. I did not see that. Well, this morning when I woke up, I didn't think I would be discussing sliders.
No, but I feel like somewhere in the back of your mind, you've gone, right, who's got the rights for sliders? We could do a reboot.
Do you know what? I've got a feeling. Oh, it's Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap got rebooted.
Yes, Quantum Leap is back.
It's back, yeah.
But Sliders Renaissance could be
Let's do
just the ticket.
Bring back Lex. Did you ever watch Lex?
Was that the spin-off
sexy
of-
late night Channel 5 one?
Yeah.
Where they were flying around in a giant penis?
No.
Oh my God, treat yourself. I think it was Canadian, which explains a lot.
It's giving Kyle XY energy. Was that the name?
Oh my God, amazing. Wow, truly the late 90s. What a treasure trove
It
of
really
science
is.
fiction and fantasy television.
And we're going to pull out some TikToks to post, and Gen Z will have no idea
Yeah.
what's going on. We'll have to add footnotes, especially when you said, I watched this on VHS.
What is a V8? Oh my God.
It's like streaming, but physical, just so
Yeah.
everyone's aware.
I thought the 80s were back now. People like Stranger Things and stuff. I still know what a video is, right?
Well, yeah, they'll have seen it in films. Yeah.
Wow.
I never conclude the podcast correctly, so that was the end.
Yay! That was the end. Goodbye.
That's that's going to be the thing forever. Is I'm just going to go, and that was it.
And we're done.
That's
Bye.
it.
Oh, we'll get a sandwich. Yay!
Oh, I could eat a sandwich. No, that's the end.